Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. So, this video is a bit spur of the moment and I'm going to warn everyone right now. It's going to be very lengthy because not only is it my analysis of why Johnny Cage was not included in the new Mortal Kombat film coming out next month, this is also going to serve as my response. My respectful response to Mr. Todd Garner, who is a producer on the Mortal Kombat film that's coming out on HBO in April. And he actually contacted me online. And so this is also going to serve as my response to him. So this is going to be a very detailed video, a very detailed response, so it's going to take a while. So please be patient with me. Okay? And this video is going to be broken up into two parts, right? It's going to be broken up into the tweets, which is we starts here. This is the first tweet that sort of leads into everything that starts when we jump down the rabbit hole. And then I'm going to cover the inverse article which mentions why Johnny Cage is not in the Mortal Kombat film. I'm going to cover that article in full so that we all have content and context to this conversation and to my viewpoints on it and to other people's viewpoints on it and whatnot. Again, there will be links. It's a linkorama in the description this time so that you can all, especially Mr. Garner, can check the links, can check what the evidence I have presented, that I have provided as of right now making this video. It's a little after 4 p.m. here in New York City. A rainy day today, which, if you see me yawning a lot, that's why. It's in the afternoon and it's raining. So that's how I'm going to go about this video. So before I get started, for the benefit of those who don't know me, such as Mr. Garner, I'm going to try to give a brief history of my history with Mortal Kombat. Hi, my name is Gene. I am a lifelong New Yorker. I am from Queens, New York, the best borough in New York City and the most diverse borough in New York City. And I am that OG 1990s 30-year fan that you mentioned in the article, Mr. Garner. I still have to this day the original MK game for the Genesis. I have Mortal Kombat 2. Getting in the camera is hard. See? MK2. I am old school. I am OG. I am that 30-year fan that you mentioned. And I have a very deep knowledge and love and appreciation for the franchise and what it used to be, and especially its lore. I would not call myself a lore master. That's probably fourth snake. But I think I get pretty damn close, if I'm to be honest with you. And while I am not a fan of the rebooted version of Mortal Kombat, which started in what, 2011 with Mortal Kombat 9, and I am certainly not a fan of MK11, in particular what they did with the story and certain characters such as Sindel, I do still keep up with the series in the sense of what they're doing storyline-wise. So I cannot speak to those games as a gamer, as games, because I haven't played them, but as a lover of the franchise, as someone who has that inbuilt knowledge and history, I can comment, and I do comment on that. Anybody who has followed my channel for any length of time knows that I've made many a video last year and the year prior following and commenting on various scandals and issues and whatnot regarding Mortal Kombat 11. And I have also made videos about this film. In particular, the decision to make Melina, or rather I should say to cast Sissy Stringer, I think her name is, as Melina. Let's just say that I respectfully disagree with having a black woman play the violent savage of the game, right? And I have made a video, which was also linked in the description, about my dismay of Liu Kang no longer being the protagonist of the film, right? Or I guess never being, in this case, the protagonist of the film. When he's the protagonist of the game series, both the original series I grew up with and this new rebooted series now. And a big question has been, who is this Cole Young? I think first was Cole Turner, and now they're saying it's Cole Young. Who's this Cole Young guy, and why isn't Johnny Cage in this game? Sorry, in this movie. I apologize. In this movie. Well, this very long video is going to address all that. So first, let me get to the tweets and explain sort of how I get roped into all this. So Evie, hi Evie, and thank you. Thank you for notifying me. You a real one. But Evie hits me up on Twitter and asks me if I'm seeing this crap. So she links me this. Says, bruh, Mortal Kombat. This is why JC. I'm going to assume that means Johnny Cage and not Jesus Christ. This is why JC isn't in it. Holy mother of clown. And it says, it's taking a section of the article. It says, lastly, one more problem Garner, that would be Todd Garner, and his team had was the unsavory idea of a white character, like Johnny Cage, being the hero who saves everyone. Tan, referring to the actor who plays Cole Young. I think his name is Louis Tan. Right, Tan is mixed race Chinese British. In Mortal Kombat lore, Johnny Cage is a Hollywood star who enters the tournament to prove he isn't a pampered, spoiled A-lister. That's a bit inaccurate. Ani. Johnny's original motivations in the original games, and certainly his younger self in Mortal Kombat 11, is all about proving that he's an action star who does his own stunts and that he can actually fight. That's his motivation. He wants to prove that basically he can kick ass in style and that everything you see in the films that he does is real. It isn't about proving that he's not a pampered, spoiled A-lister. He totally revels in and embraces the fact that he's a spoiled A-lister, especially in his youth. He's just a spoiled A-lister who can go. That's what he's trying to prove, that he can fight and that he should be taken seriously because, you know, the character was originally supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that, especially in the earlier games, is who he is based on. Continuing. While Cage is rarely the capital H hero in any given Mortal Kombat game, indeed, that's Liu Kang. He is always somewhere near the center, bringing levity to the serious stakes. This is true. I feel like if I was getting to make a movie with a diverse cast, it felt weird to have a white actor, literally Johnny Cage, be the hero of the story, Garner says, adding that these discussions and then it ends here. Here's the thing, Johnny is never the hero of the story. He gets a much larger role in the reboot, and I admit I actually don't agree with that because I don't think it was properly written to explain how he and his family can suddenly beat someone the likes of Shinnok, who's an elder god, or at least the child of an elder god, being the son of Chronica, right, and brother to Cetrion and all that. But Johnny's never been the hero of the story. He's a hero, but he's never been the hero. The hero, right, is Liu Kang, not Johnny. Johnny's one of the heroes, same way Sonya is one of the heroes, same way Jax is one of the heroes, but he's never been the hero. That was always Liu, and you took that role from him. So then I continue on speaking to Evie, and I say, now I am. Is there a link to his full comment? So you'll see right here. I was asking for full context. I didn't just jump off the bat and make a video or anything. In fact, this video is hours in the making because as you can see, this is like, what, almost 12 p.m. This is almost 4 o'clock. This is obviously taking time, right? So from the outset, I was looking for full context because I did not want to misunderstand anything, right? Or misspeak in any way. So Evie links me this, right? And then it goes here. I honestly said, no way, ain't no effing way. This is legit. So I looked for it and I found it. Mortal Kombat producer explains why you won't see Johnny Cage in the movie. And then it links to the inverse article, which I will cover later. So I read the article and then I put out this tweet. Per the article, Johnny Cage was left out of the film because of, and I quoted the article. That's what the quotations are for. I quoted the article. The unsavory idea of a white character like Johnny Cage being the hero who saves everyone. They removed Johnny because he's a heroic white man. I am disgusted. I am infuriated. This film is racist trash. And I stand by this statement. In making this video, I have yet to come across anything that changes my mind on that. If I get something or someone provides me something that would change my viewpoint, I'll let you know. But at this moment, I still find this film to be racist trash. Taking Johnny out because he's a heroic white man is insulting. So then, like an RKO out of nowhere, Todd Garner pops in. So, welcome, Todd. Welcome to my world. Now, from what I know of, this is indeed the actual Todd Garner. Right? It says here, the official Twitter of Todd Garner, I have a block button and I'm willing to use it. Well, Mr. Garner, I don't block people. People don't always like what I say. They don't always take the position, or rather don't like the positions that I take, but I don't block people just because they view something in a different light than I do. One moment, please. Excuse me. I had to close my... wind gust. Always opening my doors. But anyway, he writes here, in your video, mention that I said Johnny Cage is too big a character for the story we told. He deserves his own story. We couldn't fit everyone in. We have big plans for him and wanted to be able to do it right. No matter what we did with him, it would look like a Johnny Cage movie. Thank you. Well, sir, on my honor, on my word, as I said, I have indeed included and mentioned and read out and shown what you said. I will continue to show everything that you said. So I responded with this. Sure, I'll mention that. He, being Johnny Cage, of course, also deserves to be in this film. He's an OG and shouldn't be left out because the portrayal of a heroic white man is seen as an unsavory idea. And then I quote tweeted, right, and I said, on my word as an OG MK fan, I will mention this tweet. However, I fail to see how Johnny is too big. The MCU does team movies, such as the Avengers, and solo films about individual characters all the time, right? We're all very familiar with this, right? There's the Iron Man films. Make sure my hand's in the frame. There's the Iron Man films. There's the Thor films. There's Captain Marvel. They're doing a Black Widow film. There's the Captain America films, right? This is how the MCU works, right? They make individual films, right, for certain characters, and then they have the large team films like Avengers Endgame, right? They even see that with Endgame, right? Now Wanda, right, got WandaVision, yet she was also in the Avengers. So again, why can't this be done for Johnny? Why can't he be in the team film, which would be this, and then if the character's portrayal proves popular enough, you make a solo film or a solo series, whatever, about Johnny and Sonya and how they have Cassie and all this other stuff. You still haven't explained to me, sir, because you haven't responded. You still haven't explained to me why you can't take this approach. Your response, as I show here, to me is inadequate. It does not explain why he cannot be in this film. So then I write to him, right? I'd like to remind you, sir, that you say nothing in the inverse article about doing a Johnny movie. And I had to minimize, which is why you see the ellipsis and all that. I had to minimize a quote from the bottom of the article. The full quote will be shown in the article when I cover it. Garner is one step ahead. I would make WandaVision for Liu Kang and Kung Lao. we have a video game, Midway, I think it was Midway still at the time, made a Kung Lao, sorry, made a Kung Lao and Liu Kang video game. It's called Shaolin Monks. I played it. I thought it was okay, but a bit too loosey goosey with the lore about what was happening after the first tournament, but before the second tournament. Basically, when you have a boss battle where you can actually kill Katana, Jade, and Melina, you're not staying within the context of the lore anymore. And that kind of got on my nerves with that game. But I remember playing it. It was fun. Although that was also the beginning of this younger, bratty take on Kung Lao, and I strongly dislike that. But anyway, it says here, it continues, I would do a striker movie. Sir, from best I can tell, you are leaving out Johnny Cage because he's a heroic white man. Now you say you want to do a striker movie. Striker is a heroic white police officer. You're gonna do a movie about that character in modern day? I don't think so. I would do a Sonya and Jax movie. Well, I certainly hope it's better than the Special Forces video game. I'll give you that. Anyway, no mention of Johnny. Right, so continues. Yeah, they left that part out. But I'm sure it's in other articles somewhere. But I've said it a bunch on here. And after you see the movie, you will see how serious we are. Sir, I have no intention to watch this film. You have minimized Liu Kang and taken him from his role as the hero protagonist. You have left Johnny out from what seems to be racial reasons. Unless you can somehow prove to me that my understanding of the situation is an error, no, I'm not going to watch your film. Even if it wasn't an error, I had no interest as a viewer in this film. I comment on it because it's Mortal Kombat. I don't comment on it because I personally have an interest to see the film. I have my Mortal Kombat film. It's the one from 1995, and it starred Robin Shou as Liu Kang, Bridget Wilson as Sonya Blade, and Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage. Also featured Cary Tagawa in his legendary iconic role as Shang Tsung. Your soul, get in there, finger. Your soul is mine. Right? And it also featured Christopher Lambert of Highlander fame playing Raiden. So I have my Mortal Kombat film, sir. Thank you very much. Right, so I asked him, can you link me another article where you say this? And then he says, you can look up the last month of my Twitter feed. Johnny Cage is always top of mind. Now, here's the thing. I could look up the last month of his Twitter feed, but I'm not going to. Because A, that would be too time consuming. It's already taken me hours just to get to this point. And two, with all due respect, Mr. Garner, you came to me. You hopped into my Twitter comment section. I didn't tag you. From best I can tell, nobody I was talking to on Twitter when all this went down tagged you or anything. So I don't know quite how you found me. I'm not upset that you found me, but I don't quite know how you found me. But it's not on me to more or less prove your point. It is not on me to educate myself, as it were, sir. My education is the series that I grew up with. My education is the series that I still watch and monitor and weep for as NetherRealm Studios continues to butcher it terribly in Mortal Kombat 11. It's not on me to make your case. It's on you to make your case. Because, see, you're the one coming in telling me to make sure that I include what you say in this video. And I have kept my part. So, sir, since you are the one saying, hey, I've talked about Johnny. I have great plans for Johnny. That means you, sir, need to prove it to me. I don't have to prove it to myself. You have to disprove me. It's not the reverse. I'm not doing your work for you. You can link me the articles. You can send me links from your own Twitter account if what you say is true. After all, you sent this tweet at 1:23 p.m. It's literally for me, my time. It is 4:21 p.m. So literally 3 hours ago. It's been 3 hours and you haven't sent me anything since. Now you might send me something later, and if you do, I will certainly make a follow-up video. But as of recording this, you haven't sent me anything to support what you say here about having big plans for Johnny and Johnny's always on the top of your mind. No, sir. You have to prove that to me. And you haven't done so yet. And then I asked him links, please. And as I said earlier, up to this point, I have not received any additional communication from him. That could change. That could change, but as of the recording of this video, haven't heard a word since. Haven't read a word since. Haven't received a tweet from him since. Now, let's look at the article itself, right? Let's look at the article itself. Now, I've included the entire article. I know that the print's going to be a bit small. I had to basically mess with the size to make sure that it was visible, but also didn't leave me having to edit like 40 images. So I will read it, and I apologize if you're watching the video and it's a bit difficult to read, but I will read the entire article to you, and I will respond to it as I go through it, like I typically do. So this article was written by Eric Francisco for Inverse, and it was posted yesterday at 11 a.m. So it's about a day old, right? And it says, finish him, right? And then we have the, get over here, come here. Mortal Kombat. Why Cole Young replaces Johnny Cage? I would have put replaces Johnny Cage and Liu Kang, but I guess they can't do that since Liu technically is in the film. He's just not in his proper role as hero protagonist. Right? But it says here, why Cole Young replaces Johnny Cage in the 2021 movie. The R-rated reboot of Mortal Kombat will soon stream on HBO Max with all your favorite characters from the iconic video game series. Behold the deadliest warriors of all from all the realms. Liu Kang, Sonya, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Cole Young. Wait, Cole who? Well, first of all, you haven't included all the warriors from all the realms. Everyone listed here is an Earth Realm warrior. But anyway, except for maybe Cole. I don't know what Cole's affiliation is. But of the characters I'm familiar with, those are all Earth Realmers. So no, you haven't included in this list here the deadliest warriors from all the realms. It says from director Simon McCoy and producers Todd Garner and James Wan, Mortal Kombat introduces a brand new main character, so he's taking Liu Kang's place as the hero protag. Right, a brand new main character never before seen in the historic franchise that has nearly 100 characters on its own, but okay, we needed another one for a film. Cole Young, played by the Badlands alum Louis Tan, a faded mixed martial arts star. So, okay, he's not exactly Johnny, but Johnny's a martial artist too. He's a struggling actor in the beginning of the games, and now we have a faded mixed martial arts star. So what, he's a grittier take on Johnny? Is that it? Not so glossy, right? Cole sports a dragon-shaped birthmark. We have a dragon. His name is Liu Kang. Anyway, a dragon-shaped birthmark granting him entry into an ancient tournament. You mean the Shaolin tournament of the martial arts, also known as Mortal Kombat. And therefore onto HBO Max. Inverse has seen the first 13 minutes of Mortal Kombat, and though that experience, as well as conversation, and through that experience, I should say, Miko back. And through that experience, as well as a conversation with the filmmakers, we learned much more about this newest combatant. Read on for a closer look at Cole and why the Mortal Kombat team opted to create a new character over including someone as iconic as, say, Johnny Cage. By the way, where is Johnny Cage? One moment, please. Okay, so while there are rampant fan theories about Cole Young, such as one theorizing Cole is Chameleon, you should have spelled that with a K. Mortal Kombat producer Todd Garner says that there's a very practical purpose for debuting a new character because a 30-year-old video game that has nearly 100 characters needed a new one. You couldn't just use someone like, say, Cobra, could you? But anyway, right? So speaking with Inverse as well as other outlets, Garner says the addition of Cole Young allowed the filmmakers to do exactly what they needed to do. Get everyone on the same page. If you walked into the theater and you didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat, would you enjoy it? Yes, because I like martial arts films. Isn't that how most movies work? You go in not really knowing what to expect. You might understand something from a trailer or a commercial, but by and large, you don't know what's going to happen. Isn't that how most films work? Anyway, Garner says, we have to, by the end of the movie, get everyone caught up. So if they let us make another one, you're already thinking of a sequel? Then we can start really digging into the video game characters. Mortal Kombat, opening in theaters and streaming on HBO Max on April 16th, so about a month away, a little less, right? Is a reboot of the classic video game series first released in 1992. I'm from that school. I was 7. Although the first MK game I ever actually played was Mortal Kombat 3, which made it, I was around 9, 10 years old. I eventually rounded back and got and played everything of the main fighting games from the original series. I will flex my cred wherever I can. The games tell of Earth's participation in an ancient martial arts tournament where the victor's home dimension, realm, not a dimension, realm, is protected from otherworldly invasion. Well, here's the thing. You have to win 10 Mortal Kombats in a row to be able to invade. That's where the first Mortal Kombat game picks up. It's the 10th and final tournament at that particular stage. And if Earth loses, Earth gets invaded. Liu Kang ends up winning, Earth is saved, at least up until Mortal Kombat 2. The first 13 minutes of Mortal Kombat is a matchup between franchise icon Scorpion, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, and Sub-Zero, Joe Taslim, set in the 1600s. I have to admit, if this is meant to be the same Scorpion in Sub-Zero that have been in the games for 30 years, why it's set in the 1600s makes no sense to me, unless this is meant to be their ancestors or something. Maybe to establish the history of the rivalry between the Lin Kuei, which is Sub-Zero's clan, and the Shirai Ryu, which is Scorpion's clan. Otherwise, it makes no sense because Scorpion and Sub-Zero, when you compare them to other characters, are more modern. Even in the original games in 1992, they were only in their early 30s. If you were to sort of use that as a guide or a base, even in the reboot, they would at best be in their 50s, which means that their birthday would have been somewhere in the mid-60s. It wouldn't be in the 1600s. Now, certain characters like, say, Princess Kitana or Melina, because the Edenians age very slowly, that would make sense if something was going on in the 1600s. Shang Tsung, who's in this film, that would certainly make sense. Him fighting somebody and stealing their soul in the 1600s, that would make sense. But Scorpion and Sub-Zero doesn't make sense to me here. Anyway, in this opening sequence, Sub-Zero and his fellow assassins, the Lin Kuei, unleash untold violence on Scorpion and his loved ones, setting the two iconic characters on their vengeful path toward one another. Clearly, the relationship between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, arguably the most recognizable figures in the Mortal Kombat lore, is central to the film. Are we forgetting a guy called and named Liu Kang? I think we're forgetting Lou. Why are we forgetting Lou frickin' Kang? But Cole Young isn't far behind. For the filmmakers, Cole solves several narrative problems at once. First, as a fresh face, he is the one character on the screen asking the same questions the audience, same question audiences of all stripes will have about Mortal Kombat. You have to go into making it knowing that there are hardcore fans who know every single thing. But you have to be realistic, Garner says. If you've ever taken your mom to a movie and she's like, "What's happening?" and you're like, "Mom, shut the F up." First of all, sir, that's quite frankly very disrespectful way to speak to your mother. And two, I grew up with a black mother. You try to pull that, you're gonna have the taste slapped out of your mouth. You might lose a tooth. You're gonna end up with ringing in your ears, and she will change the locks on you so you can't get in the apartment once you go home. So yeah, don't be disrespectful in general, but especially don't be disrespectful to a black mother. It's not gonna work well for you. But anyway, that's the problem with Mortal Kombat. It's so gosh darn complicated. Cole asks the questions, who? What's happening? And he gets the answers. Here's the thing, sir. The original film from 1995 also had a audience surrogate type character who was sort of clueless as to what was going on. You know what his name was? Johnny Cage. Because Johnny, when compared to the other characters in the film, such as the hero Shaolin monk or the hard-headed, dogged female special forces soldier, or the hardened criminals she's chasing down, or the soul-stealing sorcerer, or the literal thunder god, not to mention the beautiful ageless princess, or the two ninjas who are constantly trying to kill each other but are made by mind control to work together. Out of all those characters that are featured in the first movie, Johnny is the normie out of all this. He is the most normal one, being only an action movie star and being motivated by fairly vain, selfish, self-interested motives, wanting to prove that, hey, I actually am everything I say I am. Nearly everybody else in the movie has these nobler goals. Sonya wants to capture Kano. Liu wants to avenge the death of, uh, uh, more or less, it's supposed to be Kung Lao, but they don't quite say it, so it's kind of like discount Kung Lao, right? But he wants to avenge the death of his brother, let's say, right? And you have Shang who wants to, take over everything. And Raiden wants to protect Earth, but he has to use these clueless humans to do it because the films actually address something that he's a god. He should never be competing in the first place, right? So he has to use these humans to do it. So compared to everyone else, Johnny was that sort of normie layman, comparatively speaking, character who was the audience surrogate, going, "What the hell is going on here?" Sincerely, Mr. Garner, have you ever played the original games or watched a playthrough? Have you ever watched the original film? I'm asking sincerely because I'm wondering how much knowledge of the original series and the original film you do or don't have. Another problem is that the filmmakers had a very specific story we wanted to tell. Gardner wouldn't specify what that story is exactly. You'll see it when you see the movie, he says. But it was a story we felt it important to be told. And a blank slate like Cole Young was the ideal vehicle for that story. As the filmmakers wanted to please fans of the 30-year-old franchise, sir, I am not pleased. They simply couldn't rewrite the mythology of a character fans already know. That's indeed true. There are a lot of characters in the Mortal Kombat universe, says Garner, and there's no character I could take and dust off and give a new backstory. My man, you could take Cobra because no one really knows who he is. You could take Lee May because nobody really knows who she is. There are plenty of characters from the 3D era that you could have used as viewpoint characters because they are underutilized because they're not very popular when compared to Johnny and the original seven, or yeah, original seven. Uh, Really 10 if you count like Goro and Shang and Reptile and all that 9, 10. The original characters from the first pretty much 3 games for the most part. Right? So you could have done that, but you didn't. Right? So he says, there are a lot of characters in the Mortal Kombat universe, says Garner, and there's no character I could take and dust off and give a new backstory. We needed somebody to completely manipulate, so there's not 30 years of people going, you can't do that. Fair enough. But it even says down here under this picture of Liu, says that Liu Kang has long been the de facto protagonist in the Mortal Kombat franchise. In 2021, that role in the story goes to Cole Young, who serves a specific story the filmmakers wanted to tell. So instead of just trying to sort of craft your story through Liu's eyes, you dethroned him. You dethroned the champion of Mortal Kombat and put in your own original OC. Is that correct, sir? Is that correct, Mr. Garner? Because that's what it seems like to me. Lastly, one more problem Garner and his team had was the unsavory idea of a white character like Johnny Cage being the hero who saves everyone. Tan is mixed race Chinese British. In the Mortal Kombat lore, Johnny is a Hollywood star who enters the tournament to prove he isn't a pampered, spoiled A-lister. I dealt with this earlier, but to summarize, Johnny wants to prove he can fight and that all the stuff he does in the movies is real. He isn't about proving that he's not a spoiled A-lister. He revels in being a spoiled A-lister and bragging about it. While Cage is rarely the capital H hero in any given Mortal Kombat game, he is always somewhere near the center, bringing levity to serious stakes. Because again, while Johnny has never been the hero, he's never displaced Liu, he's always been a hero. Most of the Earthrealm characters are heroic. Sonya is heroic. Jax is heroic. Stryker is heroic. Nightwolf is heroic. There was no need to remove Johnny because it's suddenly problematic to have a heroic white man. You certainly didn't mind including Kano, who is a villainous white guy. You don't mind that, but you can't have the sort of, I guess, balance it out by having Johnny, who is a positive representation of white men, right? That's that's what it seems like. That if Johnny were a villain, you would have put him in the movie, because after all, Kano's there. But you won't have the positive, I guess, positive, heroic white man. But a villainous one is perfectly fine. Okay, okay. Garner didn't confirm the precise whereabouts of Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat. His name came up a few times during the interview. So obviously, Mr. Francisco Eric must have asked you a few times or mentioned it a few times because it says that it came up several times in the interview. So, sir, what's going on here? Why won't you tell us where Johnny is or what is he doing? Right? Why won't you answer that? But his absence thus far suggests the filmmakers are trying something different. No, the filmmakers aren't trying something different. The filmmakers are leaving out an iconic character because of the fact that he's a white man, a hero in the story. That's why they're leaving it out. It's what it says right up there. If I'm wrong, Mr. Garner, you better provide some damn good proof to disprove me. But this is what this article says. This article that quotes you several times. So if the inverse article is wrong, you need to contact them and make sure that they correct it, especially since you said earlier, oh, they left out stuff from the interview. If that's the case, then you need to share what they left out, or you need to contact them and tell them, hey, people are getting the wrong impression. Please fix this. Because so far, it looks like all of this was racially motivated, and I am not happy. And so it says here, I feel like if I was getting to make a movie with a diverse cast. It felt weird to have a white actor, literally Johnny Cage, be the hero of the story, Garner says. Liu Kang, the Asian man, is the hero of the story, Todd. This series has always been incredibly racially diverse. Right, their first black character that they introduced in Mortal Kombat 2 was Jax, and he was introduced as a positive representation of black men, powerful, military, a major, Sonya supervisor. He's her boss. It's always been diverse. It's been diverse in character, it's been diverse in story. Hell, there was a time because of an actor switch that Sub Zero was actually canonically biracial, just like Mr. Tan. Right? He was considered white and Chinese, but then kidnapped by his father and raised in China in the Lin Kuei. Later on, when they got away from using real actors to actually play the characters, as you can see in Common 11, they made him fully Chinese again, and no one complained. No one complained. It's always been